Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first THE6 podcast presented by PWKY Gaming in association, PWKY Casting in association with Vdrxp Gaming. Tonight we have a very cool show for our inaugural show, and we've managed to pull across two very big names in the gaming community that many of you may already know. And we are casting live from PWKY headquarters tonight, but we have managed to set up our multi-billion-dollar satellite to get in touch with our guests. And so to introduce them to you, let me introduce you to a man you already know, our host for the evening, Mr. SHEDTHECASTER. How are you, Shed? Shed?
KYROOGEE, I hope you can hear me just fine.
I can hear you.
Through everything great. Thanks for the introduction, KYROOGEE. That is a very, very nice intro. I really appreciate it. To reiterate what you've been saying, at least, we're coming to you live from PWKY headquarters, all the way out in orbit, and we are connecting via our new addition, the multi-billion-dollar satellite that we made a purchase recently with the recent funds we achieved. So that's always nice. But as KYROOGEE, my co-presenter, has stated just now, you are live with us on THE6 podcast. Basically, what THE6 is, it's something new that we're partnering with Vdrxp Gaming for, and we are going to... Oh, Kingsley can't hear me. KYROOGEE, can we...
We're working on it. You keep talking.
We're working on it. We got the sound department working on it. We give them an hour of sunlight a day, so they should be working a little bit harder than this. But we are here to present THE6 podcast. And basically, we are giving a little bit of a voice to our community here in the Rainbow Six community, and beyond that, in the esports community. So we are here today with our two guests. I would first like to welcome Rene. She is an events coordinator for the Raving Gamerz LAN that's going to be happening shortly in December. And we are also here with Hein, otherwise known as Zeth. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us on this Thursday evening.
Oh, thank you so much. We are so fortunate to be here in the inaugural program of your new
All right. Are you guys there? Can you hear us? We may need to make a couple of adjustments to the satellite. Rene, can you hear us?
I can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. Zeth, thank you very much for joining us as well. It's a pleasure to have you guys on here.
Hey, man. Thanks for the invite. We really appreciate it. And we quite excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And for those of you who don't know, Zeth is one of the founders of Raving Gamers, and they'll be hosting a LAN sometime in December. You're going to definitely want to hang around to hear a little bit more about that. But we got you guys on here. We wanted to pick your brain a bit about a couple of things within the industry and how things are going, and what direction the esports industry is going in. So that's the basis of what THE6 is about. So we hope you guys here will be able to enjoy. Feel free to engage in the chat and ask questions directly to our guests for the evening. So let's get a little bit of background on you two. So let's start with Zeth. From what I hear, you were born with a remote in your hand.
Yeah, man. So we always joke about it, but it is pretty much that when I came out of the birth canal, the remote came out first. And my little baby thumb was on the X button. I've been gaming since I can remember. I think there's photos of me busy gaming when I was still in nappies, with my cousin, and yeah, we're still going strong. What, 40 odd years later?
Gaming before gaming was cool. Before it was, or during the period of prohibition when gaming was very much shunned upon. So growing up, what was the first console you ever got?
So as far back as I can remember, there was an Atari where you basically had like a ball that bounced between two bouncers, and we would play competitive against each other, my cousin and myself. This must be early 80s, late 70s, somewhere around there.
Sure.
Lovely. And you've gone through a whole plethora of platforms, I assume, since then?
Yeah, so we obviously, as the upgrades, we went to Sega, which was the 8-bit, and then it was the 16-bit, and then the Nintendos at that stage, and then obviously PS1. We owned a PS1 all the way through to, well, probably get a PS5 too.
Oh, nice. And did you ever venture the Xbox route?
I never ventured the Xbox route, but I did venture the PC route. I did have a gaming PC at a stage and put
Oh, nice.
console on its side, and yeah, came back to console again.
Very, very nice. And so, Rene, from what I understand, you joined a lot later in life, about 3 years ago, but you're also living and breathing it currently.
Living and breathing, yes. Someone actually told me today they think that I'm an addict. I got involved 3 years ago, yes. Before that, I was also one of those people. Gamers are these creepy guys sitting in dark rooms. They can't socialize with other people. And yes, I am rehabilitated. I think gaming is one of the best things that.
Hit the nail on the head there. We very much are creepy guys who sit in a dark room all day.
Can
But
confirm.
we're approachable. I think that's where they get it wrong.
Yeah, we can socialize as well. We actually can also bath ourselves, and we can come out for a meal.
What?
But no, I think gaming, whether you're male, female, irrespective of your age, whether you have disabilities, this is the one sport where everyone can be a part of and can take part without any restriction.
For sure.
This.
For
Yeah,
sure.
and you bring it up an interesting point there about female gamers. Have you seen an influx of female gamers playing recently, and on what platforms do you see them being? What platforms do they generally use? I mean, that's quite an interesting one, bringing in more female gamers. I think that's what this industry needs.
Oh, I agree with you. I wouldn't say I see an influx. I do see more female gamers involved. From what I can see, it's mostly on mobile games and then PC.
Okay.
Yeah. I suppose it's a little bit easier to use. It's a bit more user friendly in the beginning. But that's cool. Hopefully that'll trickle down into the console side of things. So when you started gaming, did you start on the PS console? What was your first experience 3 years ago?
Yeah, I started on PS at that stage. We're still playing it. Neverwinter was the game we were playing. And what initially got my attention was the fact that, what, I can dress up my character. If I'm going into the snow, I put on a sexy snow outfit. And when I go out into the heat, and I've got my shorts and my tees on. And so, yeah, typical woman. But then I learned quite a lot.
You enjoy the role playing?
Yes. Initially, yes, because that's where I started. And then we were fishing, literally fishing and farming. And that's how I got addicted. That first fish I caught on a Sunday afternoon, I'll never forget it. And the Tuesday I went and I maxed out my credit card to buy myself a PS4.
Okay. Probably the best decision of your life.
That's exactly what we love to hear.
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
and I'm not looking back. I'm really enjoying it. And, it's a family sport. We've got so many people in our clan. We have the mom, the dad, and the 2 kids playing. And initially, the ladies weren't very active, but what we would do is we'd get a group of ladies together, create a chat party, and then it started from Neverwinter, it rolled over to Siege. I love Siege. I'm a terrible player, but the guys were so awesome when I started playing Siege. I would just play Finca, so I would just make sure that they get some revives or that I can assist them a bit. But it was fun, and when the guys said, right, we're playing ranked now, then it was like, okay, Krem, cheers, had a chat, enjoyed playing, but now we're going to play serious, But that taught me a lot, and they would take me through the maps, they would take me through the different operators so that I could understand, what each operator's role is. And that's interesting. And you know what? You feel like you're actually learning something as well. And you're socializing with people from the UK and from America and the Netherlands, and we're all playing together. So that's why I said earlier, irrespective of where you come from, you could be a doctor, you could be a student, you could be, without a job. It doesn't matter where you come from. Gaming equals everyone. Everyone is equal.
100%.
As long as you're on the other side of the microphone there chatting, you're all equal at the end of the day. You're all there in the same situation. Playing the same game, and I absolutely love that. There's excuse me, there's pearls of clans that are just out there who are so keen to help, and you absolutely have to love seeing that type of stuff. Just clans who are like, you know what, we'll give you the time of day. We'll teach you the ropes here, because I mean, Siege is not an easy game to teach someone. That is something with an absolutely insane learning curve.
Yeah, just to speak to that, Shed, I don't know if you recall, but Pookie Gaming's first scrim was against the I Envy boys, and we had
I
no
know them very
idea
well.
at the time that we would they would wipe the floor with us, and we thought we were pretty good. You know, we've been playing this game for a little while, and they absolutely wiped the floor. But after every single map, they would give us advice. They would encourage us to keep playing, encourage us to constantly look for new ways to improve. And I think that was a really great example of how a community can come together, and across borders, even across continents, you can create this community of people that become your friends.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
That
I
is
mean,
so true, hey. And you're talking. You mentioned IN, you know, so I feel comfortable mentioning them as well. You know, they started off playing in our online tournaments, and then they were at, I think, almost all of our lands. The last one that we had at Maverick Gaming, some of the guys coming from Natal and Cape Town, they actually slept over by our house. You know, they drove with us to the tournament, to the venue. Really awesome group of guys, extremely competitive, but such a decent group of guys as well.
So it's always weird when you meet your online friends in person. We did that the other day. We had a few members of our clan that we finally met in person. And you're like, hey, man, hey, it's your face. I can see you in person. I can touch you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it's awesome, and I love that. That's one thing I love about the lands. Seeing these guys who've been playing together for 2-3 years, they've never met each other before, and you know, just it's awesome.
yeah.
And again, it breaks so many barriers, because then you're there as a team, and you see, you know, this guy comes from this background, and this guy does this,
For
and this one does
sure,
this for
for
a living,
sure.
and that one's a student. Those people would never have met or been friends
Yeah.
hadn't they met on online gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
100%.
personally, one of my best mates. Shout out to Pookie Chuckles. He lives in the UK, and I'd never met him until about a year or two after we'd been playing games together. And you know, you know these people so well,
Awesome.
and yeah, they're always better looking than you would assume, though. I've found.
Falling into the misconception of gamers there, KYROOGEE.
And you know,
Yeah.
that's why we love LAN so much, because
Yeah.
LANs brings exactly that together.
Yeah.
You have clans that have formed for 10 years or whatever, and these people have never met each other. And they form teams, they doing the competitive play online and everything like that, and they attend a LAN and actually get to spend a weekend together, which is which is exactly why we do it, you know.
It's normally a boys' weekend.
Yeah.
You'd be
usually.
surprised.
So Hein, and commonly known as Zethanius, I think, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fantastic, Zeth. So, tell me a bit more about Raving Mad Gamers. You know, since we're chatting about the LAN and stuff, where did the idea of it come from? I mean, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you were in a competitive COD team, and you've bounced around from different game to different game. So you're definitely involved in the gaming community. Like, how did you get the idea to say, oh well, we're going to start up a tournament and we're just going to run with it?
So basically, what I used to run quite a big clan, 1,000-member plus clan, right? And so we used to have a lot of COD teams in that clan. I'm talking about between 10 and 15 clans, teams in a clan. And each team would have, if it was a 5v5, we would have between 7 and 9 players per team. So it was a really big gaming community that I had. And so we wanted to start venturing into competitive play. So obviously, in order for us to find the best players within the clan, we hosted an internal tournament, right? And so it was an internal tournament.
Yeah.
Everybody got to make their own teams and everything, and we played a round robin and so forth. And then I was talking to my wife at the time, and I was talking about this competitive play and how I'd actually like to be part of esports, you know, and actually mold a way for esports in South Africa, so to speak. And we were talking about not just the esports, but merchandise and so forth and so forth. And obviously we needed a brand name. And as I'm quite mad about gaming, well, raving mad about gaming as it is, hence the name was born, you know. And so we hosted all these internal tournaments. and it grew and grew, and eventually we started hosting tournaments outside of the clan, and
Very
I
nice.
became like an organizer for VS Gaming, and so we were therefore hosting tournaments
Cool.
through their website, and named it Raving Gamers, and this was in 2014.
All right, so you've been
Obviously,
going what? You've been going about 6 years now. That's very impressive, man. How many tournaments do you think you've hosted over that time?
I have no idea how many tournaments I've hosted. A lot.
Hundreds.
Yeah. So
Ach, man,
and
that's
then
really cool.
yeah. So that's pretty much how Raving Gamers came into being.
That's really cool. You got to love it when something starts off as a passion and ends up being something so much more than that. I mean, that's a driving force behind a lot of businesses nowadays. It's just like, well, I really enjoy doing this. Let's do it for the people and see what happens. So that's really lovely. So, what was your first tournament that you hosted? You said it would have been a COD tournament, hey?
Yeah, I think it was maybe Ghosts, maybe back in Ghosts, maybe a bit further, maybe along the lines of Black Ops 3, somewhere around there. I can't exactly remember.
Oh, nice. And
Quite a couple of years ago.
and what different gaming platforms are you on at the moment for hosting tournaments? I saw Apex on there, Siege is on there.
Yeah, Apex, Siege, we've done Overwatch, Paladins, Rocket League,
Call of Duty.
Call of Duties.
And then we also did at the Maddox charity land, we had the Clash Royale.
Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so a vast
Yeah.
variety. I mean, you guys are
Done a
covering all your
FIFA
bases.
tournament inside Soweto. So yeah,
Very
we've been
nice.
busy.
That's nice,
Yeah.
man. So you've expanded quite intensely on all the gaming platforms. That's really lovely. And how regularly do you host these things, online tournaments?
Okay, so basically the structure works that we host 3 tournaments a year, 3 seasons. So Winter League, Summer League, and Spring League. And then we have a break in between them. And the idea behind the whole league is that teams are competing a 5-week round robin against each other, as opposed to just a double elimination where they come in, lose 2 games and they're out. So this type of tournament, you're playing every single week for points on a leaderboard, and then eventually go into a single elimination. I wanted to create something different to what we currently have in South Africa with all the other tournament organizers. More of a league.
Yeah, lovely.
Tournament.
So do you take a lot of note from the international side of gaming, how to set up your tournaments, or is it all kind of thought out in a unique local kind of way?
Yeah, so I did take a lot of note of how things get run, and not just in esports, but in all other types of sports as well, like rugby, soccer, and so forth. Looking at how they host massive tournaments and how teams can move from one league into another league, or from one group to another group, and so forth. And then I really wanted competitive players to be able to be, how can I put it, challenged in a tournament where you have to produce wins every single week in order to be on the top. It's not just you come in, you do a couple of hours, and there's a winner. I wanted teams to really be focused on the competitive edge, and
Work
really
for it. Yeah.
and really work hard
Make it
for
a
that
long
win.
time thing so that yeah. Even if you miss 1 or 2 games, you have the ability to come back and at least redeem yourself a little bit. I like that way of doing things at least. So you guys are fairly well established. Running 6 years, you guys have your tournaments polished. How would people get in contact with you with regards to your online tournaments? What's the easiest way of registering? What's the easiest way of getting your team on there? And what would you say to the smaller teams thinking about joining these online tournaments who are maybe a little bit scared?
So for the smaller teams, let's start off there. I think, as a small team, obviously you're petrified with what's out there and how good these teams are. But what we've also done is we've created divisions within our tournaments. So as a new team, you'd enter into an open division per se, and then you'd be playing against teams of similar, how can I say, similar
Similar
experience.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be going up against a top tier team directly off the tournament, off the bat. and getting wiped off the face of this planet, basically. You'd be more or less in your same
Not that that's a
competitive
bad
strength.
thing, you know. Not that that's a bad thing.
Definitely not a bad thing.
We can learn a
Yeah,
lot from those guys.
definitely. So, like for Siege, for instance, we have that where we used to have 3 divisions, and we've now reduced it to 2 divisions. But we have a Premier Division where all the top tier teams are in, and then we have an open division where teams actually have to play. And then what we do is the top placing of that open division then enters into the Premier Division. So they actually have to play for their right to be
That's
within
cool.
that
So
Premier Division.
yeah, so everyone gets a fair chance. So to all the little teams out there who are thinking about joining, absolutely go and do it. Go check out Raving Mad on all the social medias. Go check out their website. It's really simple to use. Go register your team. And you know, even if you get put against some big guys, it's not a big deal. We often scrim as Pookie. We often scrim against some guys who are way better than us, and it's just the point is to learn, you know. As long as you're entering, you're broadening the base, the player base, and it's that much more interesting when you get to live lands and stuff, which you guys also do.
Sorry.
Yeah, correct. So, and like I always say, you know, you learn from losing.
Yeah,
You don't learn as much from a win, whereas you would learn from a lose.
for sure. Sorry,
A lose teaches
Absolutely.
you
if I could
what
jump
the
in
team
there.
did to beat you. If you break it down and you actually look at why your team lost, like watching the stream, for instance, afterwards, or you know, really focusing on what did we do, how can we better it, what did that team do to outplay us, and things like that. You can learn from a lose, and you can definitely step up on your next game better and stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
As far as
And
getting
I'd
a hold of
also
us,
So
say,
speaking of setting up for your next game, excuse me.
sorry, what I wanted to say, you guys, when Zeth now said, you know, you can go back and you can see what did I learn from it. At our lands, we also try to stream live as many as possible games that we can. And a lot of teams have gone back. You know, it helps them a lot when they go back to the drawing board and see, you know, where did we go wrong? Where did we place the wrong defenses? Or what map didn't we know completely, especially with Siege, those type of things. So it really helps them. And it's awesome, you know, afterwards to go and sit and watch the games. We have awesome casters, so I'm very excited for some new casters that are joining us for our Siege LAN.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Do you know any good
you know,
ones?
you give them the whole experience because a land to me, the venue is your Neverland or your Loftusversveld. I'm very into rugby. I love rugby. And that's why it's important to me that you also give, you know, this is an official sport. You give the people the venue, you give them the whole experience of watching a live sport event.
Yeah. Yeah, and free. I mean, Twitch is free to everybody. Oh, if I could jump in there, just to, I'm checking the chat and trying to answer questions that the chat has. Scroopy Nibs asks if you guys have any plans to host any newer games.
Newer games like Rogue Company. Is it?
So I see TF2. I'm not sure if that's Team Fortress 2. That's super old, isn't it? But yeah, so basically, is there anything on the horizon for you guys that you're thinking of looking at? Obviously, with the new gen dropping, we'll hear which side you guys are going in a few minutes. But there will be new games coming out and a lot of optimization to make games that perhaps weren't as competitive in the past, more competitive in the future. And are you guys looking forward to that and looking to change things up?
Well, you know, for me, I'm willing to host any tournament on any game title if it has a community following it. You know, if you come to me and there's 10 teams, for instance, interested in hosting a tournament in flipping a matchstick, you know, who can flip the matchstick the highest? And there's 10 teams interested in this. I will host a tournament for those 10 teams.
I would be there.
Because for me, it's growing a community. I'm all about community and growing gamers in a certain direction, and competitive play is a certain direction, so to speak. So if there's a community that wants a tournament and there's no one hosting it for them, come to Raving Mad Gamers. We'll do it for you, definitely.
Absolutely. And I mean, just touching on that now, you guys and bringing the community in, you guys are hosting a LAN sometime soon. I just had to speak to my technical department. I think we've got a transition available for that. So, you know, you guys have got a LAN coming up sometime soon. I think we should definitely talk about that, you know, growing the community, getting people to meet each other from online basis. I think you know, a LAN is a perfect way to do that, bringing people together. So we're gonna drop the trailer now. It doesn't have any audio to it, but why don't you talk us through a little bit about what to expect on the LAN and how to enter and how to bring your team along, and you know, what the best possible way of winning might be.
Okay, so on the LAN, well,
Who
Krem,
do
do
we
you
have
want
to
to
pay
take
to
this?
get a win out?
Yeah. Okay. So with the lands, what we do, obviously the teams can go and register on our website. All the different game titles that we host on a LAN is advertised there. So the team will register. I will then contact each team captain. I get photos of the team. I get a little bit of a CV of the team, a bit of background from them. We then create banners that's posted on social media where we introduce the teams with their CVs. We also make a pamphlet for the day of the tournament so that the teams can see who is who. Once they arrive at the venue, they met with by staff from Raving Bad Gamers. We take team pictures, we take individual pictures. Those are then posted on our website. And during the day, all the scores and how the teams are progressing through the day is posted on a big screen, and it's also on our website. The team members are then taken to their pre-allocated playstations for the day, so they set areas where they then set up. We inspect all their gadgets for third-party devices, Cronus, etc., to make sure that we've got a legal and a fair tournament running.
Yeah.
Before the tournament then starts, the
That's
people have some warm-up time. And then we explain to them the rules again. Zeth will get together with all the team captains, just run through the rules and the program for the day, which is also available to all the players. As I mentioned previously, what we then do, we also have the live broadcast. We have our casters broadcasting for us. And then we swap between the actual gameplay and the players on at the venue. We also have interviews with some of the supporters. We have interviews with the players, the team captains, and that's a whole day program that we're running. Maverick have awesome restaurants right next to them. They also have a canteen where you can order food and drinks during the course of the day, coffees, juices. So it's a sports stadium. It becomes a sports stadium for the day. Afterwards, we have our prize giving where medals and prizes and checks are handed over. And during the course of the day, we also post short clips and we go live on Facebook and other social media platforms to get as much as possible exposure to the players, to our sponsors, to the supporters. And it's just awesome. Absolutely love the lands. We also have our judges, and we have some inspectors walking through the players through the course of the day just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. We have people from Maverick for technical issues on standby the whole time. Should someone's headset break or their LAN cable doesn't want to work for one or other reason, those guys are there immediately to sort that out for us. So yes, I'm also always very excited about the LANs, meeting all the players, because it's always just a face or a gamer tag. And it's nice meeting the people and just socializing and interacting with them.
Yeah, that's really, really nice, and it sounds like you guys have an absolutely professional setup going there, and you've got to love to see that there's going to be officials walking around, especially looking for cheaters and guys who are trying to bend the rules a little bit. So that's always nice to hear within the community. There's a lot of sneaky M&Kers out there, or strike pack force guys looking to take advantage of the situation. But we definitely know as PWKY, we're going to be there in full support. And I just wanted to say to everybody out there, if you haven't entered, go and enter now. These things fill up really, really fast at the last minute. So make sure your team isn't the one left out. It's going to be an absolute blast. And that's what date is that going to be on? And what date should be the last time people can register?
So the date for the LAN is the 16th to the 17th of December. It will be first come, first go. Obviously, due to COVID, we only have 12 spots available for 12 teams. And I think the last date that we'll be accepting will probably be a week to a week and a half before that. So beginning of December, yeah, that will pretty much be when we're going to have to close it off for teams entering.
Fantastic, guys. Well, you definitely heard it first. 16th to the 17th December. I've got Rainbow Siege on my mind. It's going to be 10 a.m. starting. It's going to be absolutely lovely. Going to be the PS4 platform at Maverick Gaming Center. It's going to cost $250 per player, but it's going to be well worth it. Definitely get in there. 12 spots available. I just want to take this opportunity. Rene, Hein, thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure. One last thing before you go. What would be a little pearl of advice for team managers or people who are looking to take their clan to the next level of competitiveness? Where should they start? What should they do to get that much more coverage?
So I actually did think about this a while back already of the difference between console and PC. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is we hosted some PC tournaments where it was PC only tournaments, and we've hosted console tournaments where it's either PS4 or Xbox, And the difference between the team managers is that on PC, every single game that gets played, be it Raving Mad Gamers, be it ACGL, be it Metal State, be it whoever the tournament organizer is, there will be a banner that gets posted by that clan on all their socials, stating that they are going to be playing this game against this team, and they wish that team good luck for the game. During the game, there will be a little sneak peek of maybe a 1-0 or something like that, or whatever the score may be. And then after the game, there would be another banner posted with the updated score of how that team did, and thanking the other team for the game, and maybe even thanking the tournament organizer for hosting the tournament, or so forth and so forth, And that creates awareness of that team and how that team is performing, and be it win or lose, it's irrespective
For sure.
at the stage of a promotional.
It's about the presence, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's about presence. Yeah, you are pushing your face, your clan's face, basically on socials to be seen by everyone.
Yeah.
If I could put it like that,
I've noticed.
And I think that's something that's really, really important for console team managers to take note of, because I only see a very small amount of clans actually doing that on console.
Yeah, at the moment, Vdrxp is doing a very good job of that, actually, making sure that before and after, and even during, even going so far as to thank the other team, as you said, and make sure that there's some good vibes out there, whether you win or lose.
Correct, yeah. And the second thing is, for a team manager, would be control of toxicity. This could be a really challenging thing for a team manager or a clan leader.
Yeah.
But I believe it's, every member of your clan is carrying your clan's badge.
Yeah.
And toxicity gets seen as a clan being toxic towards another clan.
For sure.
And I think that's something that clan leaders should really take note of and really enforce within their members.
Yeah. 100%.
And if toxicity comes up, they should deal with it directly,
Yeah. And I mean, it's that's the community we're trying to build. So thank you very much. Rene, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, you know what? Again, I'm going to reference back to rugby, but I mean, I could do netball, I could do hockey, I could do anything else. If
Any
we want
sport.
to grow any sport, because gaming is a sport. And in any sport, if you want to become the best, you need to put in the hours. You need to know the game. You need to spend time to better yourself. And the more professional we can make gaming in South Africa, the more people will become involved, and the more players will get involved, and we'll have more support. The more support we have, as we grow the support base, the more sponsors we will draw.
Yeah.
And people should realize, if you say you want to become a professional esports athlete in South Africa, you can, but it doesn't happen overnight. Just like you don't walk into a job and you have a management role, that's the same thing with gaming. It takes time, it takes dedication. You need to know your maps, you need to know your operators. And in that sense, if they look at it in that way, I'm so excited with what can happen in esports in South Africa.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I must say, thank you so much for your time. We have drawn to the end of our first episode. So thank you to our two guests for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
It was awesome. Thank you. And best of luck. And thank you, guys, also for what you're doing to grow esports in South Africa. We need this in South Africa.
Yeah, I hope people take the lead in this and run with it. We're trying to do our part. Other people can do their part in other ways, and hopefully we get this boosted.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Thank you so much.
if we didn't explicitly say it, thank you guys for what you've done for the community over the past few years and making sure that we have a platform that nobody else up until this point has offered.
Oh, that's just our pleasure. It's so much fun. We're loving every moment of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to our first podcast of this series. It's been an absolute pleasure having our two amazing guests on the gaming power couple, Hein and Rene. They've done an absolute stellar job at keeping the community going and making sure that tournaments have been running for us in the past couple of years. So, you know, if you haven't heard of them, go check out their socials, where it is up on the screen at the moment. And they're going to be hosting a LAN sometime very, very soon. So go check out their socials, check out what they're about, enter your team into a LAN. They do it very fairly. They make sure that you're categorized within the right parameters of what your clan is capable of. So please do go ahead and check that out. I think it's going to be an awesome day. If we didn't mention it during the stream, PWKY are going to be the casters for the day. We're really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an amazing time. So come check us out. You can finally see what KYROOGEE looks like in person. I don't know if he's going to be wearing a mask or not. We'll have to double check with him. Kyle,
Definitely.
How did you feel tonight went? I think it was a lovely experience.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We are trying some new things, making sure that some voices that perhaps people know online but haven't actually heard get to speak out and say how they feel about the communities. And thanks to everyone in the chat. We are very happy to be paired with Raving Mad Gamers tonight, who are really putting a big push forward to create a very, very friendly and non-toxic South African gaming environment, which is what we are all about.
Yep, that's exactly it. And, you know, offering pearls of wisdom with regards to what you want to do to get your clan to the next level. You know, don't be scared to get yourself out there, get your team out there, get your socials out there. It's not going to be an easy push. And you heard it from the guys themselves involved in working with the tournament. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up there, KYROOGEE. I hope you had a lovely evening.
Yep, thank you, and thanks again to our guests. I guess I'll do the sign off, considering it's not a match. Again, thank you everybody for joining tonight. We don't know when our next stream will be. We are trying to sort out some games, but also trying to put some time into making sure that things run even more smoothly than they have in the past. So lastly, thank you everyone. Have a good evening. We'll see you guys soon.